Hi, I'm Jack and welcome to Real Opinions, and today I'm going to be reviewing the show僕だけがいない街, or by its English title, ERASED, and it's a 2016 TV show. The plot follows Satoru, a 29-year-old guy with the power of revival, which the power is kind of described as it's a time travel ability where he gets sent back in time to solve problems that have just happened. The technicality with this power is that he doesn't have any control over it whatsoever. So he'll find himself kind of in the middle of a car park or something like that, and he'll be sent back 2 minutes in time, and he realises that there's a problem that he has to stop from happening, but he doesn't know what. And so that's kind of his power. It's not really in his control at all, it's more just a coincidence that keeps happening to him, and you don't really know why. At the end of the first episode, he witnesses a kind of major crime that ends up sending him not just back 2 minutes or 5 minutes like he's used to, but it sends him all the way back to his childhood, so when he's 10 years old. You kind of figure out that the problem that he has to stop now, it was caused all the way back then, and you have to figure out what is the kind of inciting incident for causing this crime all the way later in the future. It kind of sets it up as a kind of mystery thriller, trying to figuring out what is the crime that he has to stop and what he has to do it, because also as well he's a child, so that kind of sets him back, as people don't really take him seriously. He can't go to the police or anything like that, and he's got to stop it himself. So I'll just go into the positive straight away, is that it's the reason why I choose to review this show in the first place anyway is just because it's brilliantly made. It's got amazing animation, so it's not just the kind of the movement or the way that people act naturally, it's also the shots that they use, so it feels like the colours and the uses of what type of shots actually aid the story, rather than just being there and just being like block standard uses. I mean, it's kind of uncommon to see in TV, especially with such a kind of, because it's got a lower budget, quicker turnaround time, and it just seems like they really put a lot of care into every single scene, and you kind of really appreciate that when you watch it. They also use the editing to kind of build this tension that really works throughout the series, and it's a reason why a lot of people gripped by it and then later disappointed by it. One of the kind of things that helped with all this tension is the brilliant music, which, if you put aside the extremely catchy ending and the extremely catchy intro music, good score, and it's, especially again for TV, like it feels like it's manages to use the same themes for emotional kind of personal moments, as well as building up tension and going in for the darker moments and the kind of moments where everything kind of drops away and you're just kind of left with two characters facing off against one another. The cons of this is that, like I said, for a lot of people the tension did not pay off, and that's mostly because of the way it was set up, in that it's set up like it's going to be a mystery series, especially from, well, you can probably get that from the plot that I started off telling you. Throughout the series it kind of starts off as this mystery and then slowly devolves into just a very tense character drama, so you get to spend a lot of time with them, you get to go to kind of care for them, and the ending for the series is one of a character drama. Like, it's all about personal connections and personal things, but most people didn't want that because they wanted a whodunit, they wanted a final episode, the twist, who is the killer. Like, they wanted the kind of Scooby-Doo mask reveal, and it's someone that you never expected, and it turns the entire series on its head. And I wouldn't get into this series if you wanted that, because, like I said, it kind of throughout the series it changes its tone, and a lot of people didn't like that, because you kind of sign up for a series where they stick a genre label on it and you want it to stay for the whole time. I mean, like, Breaking Bad doesn't turn into a comedy halfway through. I mean, it's what people want. And I can see why people would be disappointed with that, and I could see why they're disappointed with kind of a smaller, more personal ending that in a lot of ways people found trouble with it. To be honest, I wasn't massively fond of the ending, but at the same time I didn't hate it. And I think that was mostly also due to the fact that because of the slight lack of a reveal at the end, but also because I felt quite cramped in the end. Like, I felt like they were rushing a lot of the stuff, just trying to get it over, because they spent so much time sort of slowing down throughout the series, like to kind of spread it out a bit. And to be honest, I think it could have just benefited from having more episodes, but I don't know if that's me thinking that the story could deserve more episodes, or just because I wanted more time with the characters, and because all the hanging out time that I mentioned before, you do really enjoy it, and it's really well done. And so I'm going to take that as a positive sign that I just wanted more time with the characters. Another problem that lots of people had with this show is that the revival power that I mentioned at the beginning, it feels like a lot of the mystery is also, why does he have this power, what's happened to him, blah blah blah. You don't get a satisfying explanation for that, is the best way to describe it without spoiling. And Personally, I was okay with that because, like I said, they do offer an explanation that makes it, that doesn't say this is the reason, but it kind of lets you figure it out on your own. And again, on both sides, I could feel like more people would want more explanation for the power, but at the same time, I was quite happy with what I got. And it lets the show do the, it lets the show do the talking. It lets the filmmaking do the talking for you, and it lets the filmmaking explain it, which again is uncommon in TV, and it kind of treats you more like an adult. Overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, because I was going to go for a 9 out of 10 throughout the series, but again, the ending did drop at a mark for me. But no, it's a very strong series. 8 out of 10, yeah.